First, I'd like to welcome you to Frank's Classic Leather. These kits are made with the hobbyist and the professional in mind. Designed and prototyped by hand, we then transfer the designs to a CAD program, which allows us to cut them with precision on a 150-watt laser. The colored kits are drum-dyed vegetable tan leather, and the natural are plain vegetable tan leather. This instructional video will walk you through the steps to complete one of our Holster Style Knife Sheaths. We stress the importance of a repeatable stitching method, which makes for a neat, straight, and tight stitch. Let's get started with the project. We'll start by getting the needles and the thread prepared. Using the stitch line as a guide, prepare the thread 3.5 to 4 times the length of the stitch line. Using the needles to line up the holes in the project, go ahead and clamp as shown above. Insert the thread through the eye of the needle. Pierce the end that you just pulled through the eye of the needle with the tip of the needle. Pull the pierced section of thread over the needle. Pull the thread down to create a knot. Repeat this sequence for the other needle. Now you're ready to start stitching. Put the needle through the first hole and make sure you have the same amount of thread on each side. Now you decide left to right or right to left. If your first needle goes right to left, you must always go right to left. Once you've gone right to left, pull the thread back to make room for the other needle to pass in front of the thread. Pull both sides of the thread evenly and now snug it up, and you've completed your first stitch. Because we started going right to left, we'll continue going right to left, pulling the thread back and making room to pass the other needle left to right. After you've done this about 4,000 times, it becomes second nature. The reason why we use a blunt needle is not to keep you from bleeding all over the project, but to make sure you don't pierce the thread when going left to right or right to left.
It's very important when you're hand stitching to make sure that when you start the project and you go right to left, you continue right to left. And if you go left to right, you continue left to right. And always make sure you pull the thread back and you pass the second needle in front of the thread that you just passed through. This assures you the stitch will be straight and snug. 4,000 or 5,000 stitches later, you'll be stitching this quickly and this effectively. Now we're getting ready to backstitch and end the stitch. This will show you how to complete the stitch and tie it off so that it won't unravel. Once you've got to the end of your stitching, go back 1 stitch both ways. Make sure that you don't pierce the thread. Make sure that you put the needle in front of the thread. And now the tricky part. You're going to push the needle in so it comes out between the 2 pieces that you're stitching together. By doing this, you'll be able to lock the stitch and make sure that it doesn't unravel. Once you've done this to both sides, pull the stitch out that's between the 2 pieces and cut it off as short as you can. You can always go back and burn the thread and make sure there's nothing showing. Now we're getting to the end of the project. Just thread the strap through the finish side, back to the flesh side, push the barrel in, and then put the screw in into the barrel side of the Chicago screw. Go ahead and complete by threading the Holster part into the strap and pull it around and shape it as needed.
You now have a professionally made knife sheath, which will last you for years to come. Feel free to like and share this video. If you enjoyed this video, you can subscribe to our channel. And remember, all comments are welcome, but please keep it clean.